Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am so super excited for today's show. And again, welcome to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. And to reiterate, we're live. Yes, live. Excited on a Wednesday on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Please join us in one of the various chat rooms. We're streaming all over the place, and be sure to connect with our guests today, which I know you're going to be very excited when you hear who they are. So welcome to a truly pivotal discussion that sits on the epicenter of one of the greatest mysteries of our time, UAP disclosure. And that's just one of the things that we're going to be talking about today. For decades, the narrative has been shaped by secrecy, whispers, and the steady drumbeat of disinformation, sad to say. Now, as the walls of classification begin to crack, fueled by whistleblowers, new legislation, we stand possibly, hopefully, at the crossroads. Tonight, we're diving deep into beyond the headlines and what you read. We're not just asking what is being disclosed, but why has so much been covered up. We're also going to be exploring the intricate machinery of lies, disinformation, and God knows what else that has obscured the truth for generations. And we'll scrutinize the most compelling physical evidence being debated today, from the cosmic enigma of Three-Eye Atlas to the ancient riddle of the Buga sphere. And of course, today we have Preston Dennett with us. He's one of the most respected and prolific voices in UAP research, whose work is built on hundreds, probably thousands, of firsthand witness accounts. And he's here today to help us separate the facts from the fiction and to understand the true cost of this secrecy. And with him, of course, we have the wonderful Dolly Safran, who began her life journey as a generational contactee. So enough blibber blabber. Let me bring them on board.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you both so much for being here. Always
It's
excited.
We love you.
Oh.
This is a fun thing. This is easy. We home.
Right. So we have a lot of your fans strolling on in, guys. And I thought we should definitely say hello. Let's say hello to some folks. Yay, an afternoon treat. Hi, the Storm 36. And Denise Y2K. Who else do we have? Lunch Money. Howdy. That's such a cute name.
Always nice to have lunch.
Yeah, right. And of course, Patsy. Much love to you there. Much love. Who else do we have here? We have Max Meeks. Howdy.
Ha. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the thumbnail pic for sure. They're always fun to make.
Yeah.
Who else do we have? Mort.
Hello, Mort.
Howdy.
Mortally, I get it.
And let's see who else we have. Ray O'Brien. Howdy. And
hello.
Carol Bell. That is cute.
I like that. Makes me think of Christmas.
Yes, exactly. Which will be here before we know it.
Yep.
And then we have 2011 Kathy. And nice. Boy, there's some, we could stay here for 20 minutes. Welcome everybody. If I left anybody out, please forgive me. Thank you so much for joining the chat and the conversation. We're always so stoked to have you in the chat room. So guys, where do you want to start? You pick a topic. I mean, we can start with disclosure. I mean, that's always something that gets the crawl going in people.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
If you go way back, there's been cover-ups throughout history. There's no doubt about that. Folks within government make a mistake. That's their first sort of go-to. Let's just not tell anyone. Let's cover this up. But when the whole UFO subject really came to the forefront, of course, with Roswell, people say the modern age of UFOs is 1940s. It started a little earlier than that, and it was already being covered up. But Roswell was such a pivotal event. And what I love about Roswell is this is a case that was very widely viewed in terms of all the people in town. People saw this thing coming down. They saw it on radar.
Oh, yeah.
This case has been busted wide open in terms of people who've been interviewed about it include people who are guarding the wreckage, the people who picked up the wreckage, people who studied the wreckage, the people who flew the wreckage. So all right straight down the line, we know all the people who are involved. And this case came that close to changing the course of history. It did anyway, but when that newspaper article came out, that press release, it said, we have got one. We finally got an ET craft. That was amazing because that was, Colonel Blanchard, I think was one, Walter Haut. These guys wanted the truth out, and they put it out. And they paid the price for it because the very next day, they had to backtrack, backpedal. It was all pulled off. It was a weather balloon. If that had not happened, if we had actually gone through with that, we would be living in a very different world.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they covered it up, and they threatened people's lives. Frankie Rowe, her father was involved in it. They threatened her. She's a kid. They threatened her with death. You will be dog food out in the desert. And it's right down the line. And people died over Roswell as well. So that's kind of when it really began to be a brutal, in-your-face, open conspiracy cover-up. And it's just spun out of control since then. I think it goes earlier than that, but that's when it really is.
I can actually give you a case that I am now allowed to talk about.
Oh, good.
Preston has heard this before, but he's never heard me publicly state it. My brother's wife, Donna, who we all knew growing up, they loved each other from really early. Anyway, her mom and I became close because I used to babysit Donna. I'm like 8 years older than Donna and her sisters. And I used to babysit them. That's how my brother got so close to them as well. And she knew I was a contactee. And the only way she would have known that is if she was one too, because she was able to see me coming and going and told me about it later in life and told her daughter about it later in life. But one of the things that I found out from her is that in 1942 in Long Island, New York, her brother, who was a CIA agent, had Donna, had her baby, he was taking care of her one day. They had a family there was a huge age gap, between the kids. And Judy, who I'm talking about, was very, very young, and he had control over her that day. She was about 4 or 5 years old. And he got a call to show up somewhere, that it was an emergency and to get out there. And he did, because he was the closest one to get there. When he did, there was chaos going on around. Then it was in the neighborhood, and they couldn't understand why people couldn't get into an area. Suddenly nobody could get past like an invisible barrier or something, and they were freaking out. Judy was holding his hand, and she let go, and she told me she heard somebody call her name. And she walked toward it, and she literally walked into that field and disappeared in front of God and everybody, which freaked him out, okay? They cordoned off the area. They pushed everybody back. This is in 1942, and the CIA was absolutely involved in this, okay? He is alive to this day, by the way. I know where he is, and I heard it from him as well. She was gone for 45 minutes. They could not find her. They could not get to her, nothing. And she just suddenly walked out, reappeared. And then there was a huge flash of light, and it was gone. She told me that then is when she got her implant. She has an implant, had an implant her whole life. And she remembered it vividly every second of that day. And she never forgot it. She knew she was a contactee. She came and went constantly. And she told her children about it, about being a contact as well. To the day she died, 2 days before she died, she called Donna into the room, my sister-in-law, and said, Donna, they came today. They came and got the implant. And this was in 2019.
Wow.
And she died 2 days later.
They took the implant out?
Yeah, ET came and got the implant before she passed away. They don't like leaving them on the ground.
Yeah.
It is now that this is the point I'm trying to make. The CIA has always known about ETs. The CIA was created for that reason, all the way back to Truman. Okay, and they have held all that information all this time. I don't care. They are part of the military-industrial complex. Mark my words, they are. And I'm going to start getting verbal about it because Roswell's nothing. Roswell, they only had, if they had known sooner that the crash happened in Roswell, besides that, I'm telling you, there were two. One totally broke up and they had one that was cracked, but they got it as well, and bodies. And you don't know the whole truth about that either. It is amazing to me that I was told by him that point blank, their job was literally to get in, assess it, grab it, and get it out of sight as quickly as possible, and to do anything they could to sway the public from any truth of it whatsoever, to erase it publicly, to reach all witnesses and stop them from talking any way they could. And when you say any way they could, imagine what that entailed. Okay.
Yeah.
What they would do is they'd form a perimeter and go in and kill anything that was within that perimeter. And it's no coincidence that the intelligence agencies were formed at the time that all of this was going on. That's what formed the intelligence agencies. MJ-12, absolutely true, but this is how bad this disinformation is, because when the documents came out, they were completely, what do you call it? Fake. Yeah. William Moore was self-admitted disinformation agent. He's one of the authors of the Roswell incident, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's, you can see what a mess this is. From the beginning, they were really scrambling on how do we handle this? How can we lie to the public effectively? How do we keep a lid on this subject? And they've done everything in their toolbox to do this.
Oh, yeah. Let me ask you this so folks can maybe, because I hear a lot of people always asking why. Why does the government and did the government want to hide this from us so desperately?
For two reasons. First reason, number one, we are facing a solar system catastrophe of biblical proportions. And they knew it then. They knew the truth of it then in the 30s. Okay. They spent some time verifying it, but they knew. They knew what they were going to do. They knew that they felt like they were in control and they were handling the whole thing. That's number one. The second one is that when you have a world with the population that we do, and it wasn't even near what it is now. Think about that. Yeah. They knew that it was going to be impossible for everybody to survive it. And so they chose who they thought should survive it. And they have been working diligently to make that happen, what they believe will happen, okay? E.T. contacted them. Eisenhower was picked up, and so were 7 other world leaders. You don't hear about them, you only hear about Eisenhower, but he's one of them. And what he tried to tell E.T. literally was, I can't do anything to stop this. This is not, I have no control over it whatsoever. His exit from the presidency warned everybody on this planet, in this country, that there is a military-industrial complex and we need to worry about what they're up to. Oh, yeah. Literally gave it away, okay? Do you know how fast they reacted to that? We have been bonded into bondage, all of us on this planet, to do their bidding so that they can do what they want to do to survive what they think they're going to survive. And all of us on this planet are incidental to that. That's the absolute reason why. There's no other reason other than that. If you want to talk about who has the ultimate agenda, it is them. And they plan it and it is executing right now. They have foisted our fear. They have foisted disinformation and misinformation. They have stopped us from using our abilities, and we have them. They're there. They're real. And most of the people on this planet couldn't operate if they tried. ET has done everything they could to bring their reality of who they are to us by showing us who they are on their own.
Very effectively, or we wouldn't be talking today.
That's right.
They put forth a very vigorous publicity campaign and grassroots movement to get all this information out. Because yes, they told Eisenhower about the dangers of nuclear power, wasn't getting a good response, so they went to every single person on this planet, practically. Not everyone has recalled this, but everyone's been given the opportunity, certainly. And estimates are somewhere between 1 in 40 and 1 in 50 people have been taken on board.
Yeah.
And when you think about that, that's a very clever number, because we all know about 40 or 50 people. So that's enough to spread the information universally. And from the very beginning, they knew this was real. And that's when they said, okay, we're going to tell everybody that it's not real. And anyone who thinks they saw a UFO, it's either one of 4 things. It's either a hoax, it's a hallucination, it's a misperception, or it's straight up mental illness. And that's when Blue Book was not the first, Air Force study group. It was started out with Project Sign, and then became Project Grudge. Think of that name, Project Grudge. Evolved into Project Blue Book, which we now know, of course, was a complete lie.
Right.
Any case that had any real evidence to it bypassed Blue Book and went straight to the Air Technical Intelligence Command at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
I want to bring up why Grudge got used. Okay, this is absolutely true. When ET contacted the world leaders, the very first thing that the military-industrial complex wanted to know was, why won't they help us get off this planet? Okay, why won't they help us? Why won't they save us right now? Why won't they give us what we want?
Yeah.
You have to understand something. Humanity was not ready, is not ready as we speak for that kind of knowledge and technology. We are babies in the crib to them. And we have very bad attitudes. We're violent. We're angry. We're murderers. Okay. It is not okay. There's an old saying that I want to bring up to everybody. It was out there for a long time, and I wish people still think this way. ET used to refer to us as empty bags of skin because we had nothing in us that they found worth anything. There was no money. There was no worth to us inside our skins because we were deliberately being stupid. Okay. When you think you're in control, and you will do anything to be in control because you want to control every situation, you aren't ready to talk to anybody about being wise, elevate yourself, being given the keys to the kingdom, so to speak. You are not ready. And we have not been ready. And they've proven it over and over and again. And they've taught the people on this planet, innocent people, how to be idiots as well, and slaves mentality. That's why they called it a grudge. They were so angry that ET wouldn't give them what they wanted. It became a grudge.
Oh,
literally.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you something. If you think you're better than everybody else, and you're smarter than everybody else, and that you can do whatever you want, and you can control whatever you want, you have made the worst mistake of your existence, period. Okay? That is the rule number 1. For every action, there is an equal or opposite reaction. And if you're going to do that, your days are not going to be good ones. Trust me, they are not. Because it might take a while for it to catch up with you. It will. And you won't leave here because of it, period.
Yeah, the arrogance with the folks behind the cover-up is mind-blowing to me, because here's an opportunity to interact with people who are far more advanced than us, to absolutely lift up humanity. And they chose not to do it. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that.
Well, that's why I asked the why, because it's very confusing, because, we hear a lot of different reasons as to why the government has covered up ET for so long. They think we're stupid, and we're not. We know what's going on. There's a lot of good people on this planet too. Sure. Aside from those that are not, there's a lot of good people. And as Dolly and I were saying earlier, we are light, we are energy and vibration. And I think they hate us for that alone.
Yeah, well, they're
maybe
terrified of us. If we all woke up at the same
exactly.
time, they're done. Point
Yeah.
blank, they're done. They don't get to do that anymore. That's why they have to keep a slave thinking. Okay?
Because there
That's
are
why.
societies out there that don't use money. That would absolutely, that's what scares the crap out of these folks behind the
Yeah.
cover up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't
They
want
have
us
to
to
have
know that.
slaves. For them to be as rich, filthy rich as they are and do what they want, they have to have people under them. You know what I find phantasmagorical? Think about this. Think critically. Think. We had a huge war about this, about slavery. Okay,
Yeah.
huge, and yet the people, the oligarchies, Richard Soros's, all these guys, all these big bank owners, they own us, and all you have to do is look at the evidence of that ownership. We all have numbers. They've gone to digital ID now. We have social security numbers here. We have everything you do is under the sight and oversight of somebody with a big gavel or a jail cell waiting for you. That's slavery. Okay. And yet we're accused. I'm not kidding you. People who know the truth, and we're talking the truth to people, we're accused of being the ones who are with the problem. No. That's not how this works. The slave owners are saying this. They're gaslighting everybody. And we can't let them anymore. We can't. You have to stop and just let it go through you and say, no.
Traditional slavery was outlawed worldwide, and the U.S. was way late in the game with this. But I read this quote, and I couldn't believe that there are more people now who are actual slaves, owned literally, not just by wage slaves, than there were during slave times. Look that up.
It's happening globally.
This is still a problem.
It has always happened globally.
Yeah.
It's not legal, but it's still happening.
The trafficking situation alone. I mean, it's bad. Yeah. And and it boils down to power and money. But basically, that
and drugs. I want to bring this up. We're not going to wake up until we stop using drugs on this planet. That was implanted by the bad guys. They want you stupefied so that you will do what you're told. Okay.
Yeah.
And the introduction of drugs or drug culture into our society is a direct advancement on their part to make us all complacent. Pharma is the same way.
I mean, look at the amount of antidepressants and anxiety medication that's being distributed out there.
Everything.
More people die of legal drugs than illegal drugs.
Huh? Say that again.
More people die of legal drugs than illegal drugs.
My son's a nurse, and the story he tells me, boy, let me tell you, everybody is doped up on them things. But, on the flip side of it, look at the resistance, the people that resisted the you-know-what, okay? You-know-what, folks, okay? Millions of people across the globe resisted that as well. So there are people out there that do have the sense to know innately.
I want you to understand that they're going to get you one way or another with that. You understand?
They are.
They've already changed everything. Your food is going to have it in it, which it already does. Chickens are being given the inoculation starting in November.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. This is, and the patents for it are done, over with. They're doing it. Okay. All your flu shots, every shot that you take now is mRNA, and it is to destroy you. And I'm sorry, that's part of the issue.
No, that's the gospel truth. Do you know, I called my vet up the other day and I said, my dog is not getting the rabies vaccine because I recently read an article that there's mRNA technology in that too. And I heard a lot of dogs are dropping dead left and right from this thing. And I said, she goes, it's the law. I said, come get my dog. Come and arrest me and my dog then, because it ain't happening. I am not giving my dog any vaccines. My personal choice.
Right.
My personal choice. Everybody does what they want to do.
Let's go back a second to drugs, because I do want to make a point about that. One of the early interviews I did was secondhand through a friend of my father knew someone who was within the secret government. So this is kind of technically hearsay, but this is a profound story. This gentleman told his friend that my dad knew, everything I've told you is a lie. I don't work in Las Vegas. He was flown up to Alaska every week and would come back on weekends, and got out of it because they kept giving him these sodium pentothal injections and doing this whole, interrogation every single week. They needed to know every single thing that happened to him. And what he said was he worked in a secret underground base in Alaska that went 8 stories down, that worked on 3 things, which was biological weapons, which he said what we see and what we know of is nothing compared to what they have.
What they have, right?
Sensory devices. They said we have the ability to see through solid walls right now.
Oh, absolutely.
And this was years ago, through roofs, all of it. And the third
they
was
the lead out of paint.
Yeah. And the third was reverse engineering ET tech. But here's the point I wanted to make. They fund this underground base in a very nefarious way, which is they arrest drug cartels, take the drugs, take the money, go and sell the drugs, get the money, then arrest those folks, take their money on the drugs, and into this vicious circle that's never ending. Drugs are a tool that's being used against
humanity,
all of humanity, really, but to fund their nefarious projects. They're absolutely doing this intentionally. And when they say there's a war on drugs, that's disingenuous.
That's why I always laughed at, who was it, Nancy Reagan? Just say no. Just say no. That campaign.
Right now, I'm not going to be political. I'm just going to be factual here, okay?
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with politics, but the facts.
No,
the person in the White House right now does not do drugs. He does not drink alcohol. He hates it. He abhors it. He thinks that America is dying because of it, of drugs and all of that. He has gone on a personal mission to attack these guys and put them down permanently. The military-industrial complex hates his guts for this. Absolutely hates him, because he is going to dismantle, destroy them, and put them underground. And he is doing it. Now, this is not a political statement. Thank God one person has the brains to know the truth about certain things. And that's what I'm saying. We need more people in our lives all around us. We need to think about what we're doing and who we believe and who we don't believe. Okay? We need to understand that a truth teller, no matter how hard or emotional it becomes on you, is doing the best they can for you. When you go to the doctor and your arm is all cut up and you're hurt, braided, and they have to clean it out before they stitch you back up, it's the worst pain you can feel. There's no drug for that. They have to do it wide awake for you. Okay? This is what I'm equating to us. We are all in trouble. We are all cut up and bruised, attacked, mutilated, and drugged. And it's going to be hard. And we all have to do the hard choice on ourselves now. We have to critically think through what the truth really is. And then each of us individually, because it begins with us, help ourselves to learn to change that. Once we do that, that makes the big difference. That's how we do it. It's not going to be a war. It's not going to be a bunch of people all at once using their brains. Every single individual within the sound of my voice and worldwide has to think for themselves, period.
Yeah. And don't go to the media, because you'll see media stories come up and they're trying to steer the way you think very strongly. And it's very, very effective. So we have to be very, very careful about anything you see on the news that's getting all kinds of attention.
Right.
And ask yourself why. You have to really dig deep and do your research. Why are they trying to make me think this way?
Exactly. It's like, look over here, it's a false flag situation.
It's worse than that. It's in everything, single thing you hear every single day from every media outlet there is very, very few chances to hear what the real truth is. And people are so triggered by it and so believing things that are not true that we have huge loads and loads of people who are out of their minds with it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Cause mental illness in the people in this world. And they're easily triggered. One word can set them off. That's not normal. That's not healthy thinking. That's stinking thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about all of us, worried about us. ET's worried about us, literally worried. That's why they say, clean yourself up. Fix yourself first. Learn to be self-sufficient. Learn to use your abilities. Do everything you can to be a whole person, and then move forward to help others. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And
absolutely.
Well, here's a case.
tackle this when you get a chance there, Preston. Go ahead.
Yeah, here's a case I just want to bring up because it shows what we're dealing with here. And this comes from Project Blue Book. There was a gentleman, Lieutenant Long, I think was his name, in Nevada, driving late at night. Really credible witness. He just finished flight school. He's upstanding guy. Comes upon 3 discs hovering right above the ground. Gets out of his car, looks at them, makes this excellent report, very detailed, and submits it. What does Project Blue Book do? They don't want to research this incident. What they do is research him and try to find some psychological fault with him. Why did he think he saw this?
Yeah.
Right.
J. Allen Hynek pointed out this as one of more than a score of cases as to what kind of tipped him off. Like, Project Blue Book is not for real. And he eventually defected from it. But this is how hard they're working. You know, when someone is touching upon the truth, they get attacked. And this can be anything.
Yep.
And for those who think that our government has our best interests in mind, let's go a little bit out of the UFO field. Remember that they sterilized disenfranchised portions of our population without their permission. They gave people venereal disease.
Oh, yeah.
They irradiated people. They fed people hallucinogenics. Didn't tell them. This is why, you know,
they're still doing it. You don't know about it, but it's still happening. Big Pharma is playing with you. Do you know how many drugs they try on you for different reasons just to see if it'll work or not? Do you understand how serious that is? When you watch TV, how many drugs do you see? And you see those disclaimers, you know, stuff, and don't do it.
Oh gosh, those drug commercials. I can't stand them.
There are whole hordes of people who are losing body parts without you knowing about it. Whole populations of people who are being disemboweled and losing their kidneys and having them given to people who can, you know, who are supposedly superior.
May cause uncontrollable movements, which may be permanent.
Yeah,
I heard that.
Or dyskinesia. But no, that's you know, yeah, sure.
Why would that has got to? They do not allow those in other countries. Those commercials, and every show you watch, there's at least one of them.
I think the United States and New Zealand are the only countries where they allow pharmaceutical commercials. They're banned.
No,
you know, they upset me. They upset me so much that when I do watch TV, which isn't often, I mute them because I can't. They want
subliminal.
Exactly.
If you've got, if you can record your TV, record the TV and just slice through the commercials. Okay.
I know,
and be careful what you record.
Some of them won't let you fast forward, so I just mute the shit and I just play
now,
with my
I'm going to give you a country I want you to be aware of that's in deep doo-doo right now. Okay, it's Australia. They're already on digital ID. Everything about them is controlled 100%. And the more I learn from people there, the more upset I become about what I'm hearing from them. I have a good friend who just had surgery there. And I was asking him about what drugs they were giving, what the protocols were for him and everything. He didn't know half the crap he took. When he started telling me what it was, I was like, for what? They're doing what to you? They won't let you this or that or the other? Oh, my God. And he had absolutely no choice. He had to absolutely do what they told him or he would be in trouble. Okay? And it's like that all over the country right now. There is no freedom, none. It's all gone. Beep, 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 gone. If they have another outbreak there, everybody's going to take the shot again. Okay? Check out the population of Australia and see where it's at right now from 20 years ago and go be shocked.
Bad news. It's bad news. That statement cracked me up, but that goes to show you the power. You know, that's from that like fake Viagra commercial thing that I mean, this is, you know, and I think the Trump administration is working on having these pharmaceutical commercials banned in the United States. And it can't happen.
They created the problem and then they gave you what they think is the cure, which hurts you even more. Men shouldn't be having these problems, okay, at all. Their health is imperative and they should be living a lifestyle that keeps them healthy. And one of them is the introduction of estrogen into their diets. Okay. The second one is the introduction of tidy whities. The third one is the introduction of mental BS, where they're being taught away from manhood into, I don't know what the heck you call it. Okay, that's just the top four. Then we get into the drugs they take for certain ailments. Half the heart medications that you take can cause ED. No kidding. Okay, half the drugs you take for stomach problems can cause ED. They create the problems and then they sort of confuse and try to cure. Everybody who takes that medication, Viagra, are in trouble. Okay, there are natural forms that you can take to help clear and unclog your veins that are natural, and you can do it, and it doesn't cause your body to freak out, have heart attacks, or give you a stroke. And that stuff can't.
Well, Dolly, look at what they did during COVID, especially on YouTube. When you talked about any holistic alternatives, you were banned immediately. So,
Preston, I know.
Yeah, it's just god awful. What, Preston? I wanted to ask you about the defense contractors. What role do you think they play? Because I think they're a bunch of nefarious group of people. These defense contractors that they
absolutely. You know, if you get the opportunity to talk to Michael Schratt and have him put his presentation on The Price is Wrong, it's hilarious and it's frightening because he goes directly into this and lays it out in black and white from what we all know about the, you know, $1,000 hammer at the Pentagon or the $2,000 washer. The money, if you track the money, it's absolutely not adding up. Where is all this money going? And we know where it's going. It's all into this black budget.
Right.
We spend more money on stuff that we never see. That's not good for us in any way. 90% of tax dollars are spent towards these subjects. You know, the cover-up, the reverse engineering of ET tech, weapons. It's ridiculous. Just because everyone in the world really just wants the same things.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something about contractors. They are the long arms of the military-industrial complex, and they are owned by it. Okay, let us not believe that these are private contractors. They are not. They are military-industrial complex contractors, and they are serious. Lockheed Martin is at the top of the damn list. Okay, excuse my French. And
and we can't Freedom of Information Act Lockheed because freedom of
it is a military entity. You understand that NASA is not a private entity. It is owned wholly by the U.S. government. It is U.S. owned and operated. It is a part of the military industrial complex. Everything that comes out of NASA is run in that narrative. We need to wake up to what the truth really, 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 really is. You know, we're already owned and operated by the governments on this planet. You need to understand that it's that insidious. It's gone that far. They've had 80 years to secure and lock in all this stuff. We are incidentals to it, all of us.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And if they want to call the herd, they're going to, and they will, and they are.
And we all bear a responsibility and culpability to this because each of us has allowed this to happen. And I know we feel powerless, and we, to a certain extent, are, but not really. You know, we all have autonomy. Governments fall all the time. The U.S. has had a pretty long run, but already when corruption gets, you know, when the government, the top part of the government gets corruption, and that's what causes governments to fall because people get tired of it.
Yeah, well,
that's going to happen. If, you know, that will happen because it always happens throughout history. There's no government that's survived from the beginning to now. Not one. The Australian Aborigines didn't have a government. They are the longest surviving continuous civilization.
And they're almost gone. They are now becoming extinct. You realize that, right? They've gone out of their way to get them out.
And they basically said, we're leaving this planet.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
explain
this is
to me, Scarlett says, how Congress and the president are not in need to know. We are idiots to allow this.
Yeah,
there has to be a front. I want you to understand something. We have state government, local governments, and we have federal governments, and we have the White House and the executive branch, the legislative branch, the judicial branch, blah, 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 blah. These are all storefronts where you think we're being owned and operated, but we're not. These people have no control, none whatsoever, over the oligarchies. Now, the last two presidents prove to me that this is true, because they were more than willing to do what the oligarchs were saying instead of what we were saying. They went out of their way to obey them and not us. And we're in that situation right now where they have lost control of that for a time, and they are losing their bloody doggone minds. And they've tried to do what they can to make it drop and fail again, but they're having a hard time because somebody's in there right now that's fighting them tooth and nail. You need to learn to see the truth. This is nothing but a show. That's all
it's an illusion.
Yeah.
It
and
is.
remember, our government officials are, quote, elected. But everyone in the military, everyone in the intelligence agencies, none of them are elected.
No.
Correct.
That's a good point, Preston. You know, and we're also up against the WEF, the UN, Big Pharma. I mean, there's so much of it. And sometimes you do feel powerless.
They are the commanders and the sergeants of the military industrial complex. They are the mafioso of them, right? Yep. You know, there's how it's a big boss and then everybody's got jobs, right? That's what we're talking about, who these people are. And they want absolute power over us. Now, look at the World Health Organization. That's why this one that's in office dropped them, said, nope. Because they want the power to shut you and lock you down and move you into cities when they think you need to go die and all this other kind of stuff. No, the EU is a controlling factor. The UN is a controlling factor, and it's part of that oligarchy or the mafia for them, period. There are people above them telling them what to do, literally telling them what to do. We need to realize that when you have to go to the teat of a monstrous, creepy, bunch of yahoos to tell you it's okay, you're going to be all right, you're in a lot of trouble. You should be able to take care of yourself, okay? And they've built a world around this where it makes that almost impossible now for you to survive under any circumstances without their help. You understand that, right?
Well, look at the problem here. These are the people who are on my naughty list. You know, the banking industry. They own your home.
Yes.
You think you own your home. You don't.
No,
the insurance industry.
Land, you don't even, your taxes. I mean, if I told you my taxes in Pennsylvania are equally as bad as New Jersey, it's like, I think you guys have it less in the South, but taxes here are a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. And, you might actually, quote, own your home and you're paying a mortgage, but you're actually paying a lot more money. And until you absolutely pay that off, they can take it away from you anytime. They can still take it away from you. And
they come in and declare it, whatever they want to declare.
Well, that's
land taxes.
That's the banking industry, right?
Right.
But the pharmaceutical industry, we've already talked about. We know how bad they are. The energy industry. This is not okay. That they own all the resources and control it and can, with the price of gasoline, the price of electricity, the price.
Exactly.
We used to live without these kinds of things. 100 years ago, 200. We were kind of free from that. That's another way they enslave us. And let me see, did I get
water,
banking, insurance industry? Oh,
another ripoff.
It's under my skin. When you think about how much you pay for just insurance, and then you have to fight them to get what you paid for.
Exactly.
They make so much money.
Perfect example with the fires in California with those poor people.
That's why I call it the mafia, because it's like, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to take care of you. But when something bad really happens, where'd they go? It's like, why aren't you here? Oh, well, you have to give me something for that. You have to. I have to be able to own you. Okay.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure how to fight this, but our best tool, I think, is knowledge. That's where we got to start. Become aware of this. And the second thing we can do is, you can free yourself from the energy industry by moving off grid.
Yeah.
You're going to live without it. You don't need it.
You can free yourself from the pharmaceutical industry by researching alternative healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there are ways to sort of fight this, but
ultimately, know your own medicine. Learn how to use it. Learn how to make it. Yeah,
we have to start by just becoming knowledgeable on this, which is why this, show like yours is so important.
Oh,
because people are waking up to this.
Yeah,
and you're not going to find this on the news. This kind of information.
This is why what we do is essential, and both your voices are more critical now than ever before.
Well, I don't want to how do
it's
I put this?
disturbing to me because I'm just a guy, you know.
I'm just a person. And all I'm doing is trying to tell the truth. What I want you to do is take what I say. Don't believe me off the top of it. I want you to research what I say, because you can't become powerful until you understand it for yourself. Knowledge is power. It's wisdom. It's something you can employ for yourself. And you have to do that. You have to take that step, that leap. And it's not faith that's going to get you there. It's no.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Learn it.
Yeah. And move beyond fear, because fear paralyzes people, and you end up cowing down and doing as you're told because you're afraid. So if we can realize that we're eternal, immortal, powerful beings, we can really start to be more effective in our fight against tyranny.
Yeah, we need to wake up to this pay-to-play crap that's going on too. I'm sure you've seen where you can't buy a new car anymore and hook up your music or your navigation or look at your tire pressure or oil, because they charge you a fee now every month to see these things on the screen.
You still have the ability to go to a car company and say, I want a basic model, no perks, nothing. I just want a basic car, and they have to sell it to you.
True, but now they come with cameras right facing you, so that the minute you turn your head off the road, it breaks for you. I mean, this is absolute 20.
That's why you ask for a basic car with no technology in it, and you sign paperwork to state that you're taking a non-technology car. And then you use your brains to figure out whether they put it in there or not anyway. You know, if you're intelligent,
everything's got a computer.
If you're intelligent, you know how to disable computers and stuff and make a car work basically. Or go buy a good used car from before this technology, which is what you should do, okay? Because they can get you that way.
Yeah, it's funny. I rented a car not too long ago. They gave me a brand new one. I'm like, oh, cool. Took me a while to learn how to do it. But I'm driving along, and this was a long drive, and it said, well, you haven't taken a break for a while. You should pull off the road.
What?
And I'm like, no. I'm like, it's time to take a break.
It went nuts.
What?
We shut that damn computer off.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It's like you've been driving too long. It's none of your business how long I've been driving.
This is what I'm talking about.
No, I turned it off. I was like, no, not playing with your butt. No. It wanted to GPS us. I was like, no. I got my own phone. I got my own GPS. I don't need you.
What if it decides, if it's AI and it decides, you know what? That's it. I'm turning your car off. You've been driving too long.
Exactly.
Well, that's why you buy an older car that doesn't have that technology, or you go to a technician who has to turn it off.
Good luck finding a new anything. A refrigerator is going to know what you're taking.
Oh yeah, they already do. Our refrigerator dials the internet. We can hear it make the call. I'm not kidding you. I laugh when I hear it do it. I go, oh, there it goes. It's on the internet again. It knows what we're doing. Our
and we know TVs have cameras in them. We know this because people found that out.
Yeah. So the TV is only facing one room in the house. It has no access to anything else. No other TVs turned on, and the Wi-Fi gets disconnected. And we Faraday things and make sure that it understands. I'm going to start employing. I have several large leaded blankets. They're sealed to keep us from getting in there. And I play with them. It's going to happen.
Every picture you take has a little bit of information so that they know exactly where that picture was taken.
Damn free. Yeah. What about those Zumba vacuums that were scooting around your house, going in the bathroom, taking pictures of people and uploading them back to China?
What?
Yeah, we don't have any of that.
Kidding.
No. We have no technology in this house. As a matter of fact, we don't even own a Mr. Coffee. We have real old-fashioned percolators. Okay? No kidding. They taste better anyway. Yeah. I got glass, I got iron, and I got stainless steel, and nothing can transmit nothing to nobody, you know?
Yeah,
I use
AI is a tool for the oligarchs right now that they can absolutely use it.
I have a broom and a mop, okay?
There you go.
I don't need your technology. I just don't. Y'all are stupid idiots.
That we're dealing with this. You know, when the Condon Committee came out, and if you don't know about the Condon Committee, it's a clone of Project Blue Book. But you can read this in black and white. We need to start a disinformation campaign and make people think that if people who see UFOs are idiots or crazy. Because this is, that you can read this in black and white. This has been declassified. And we know this is going on in every level of society.
Absolutely. Perk coffee is the best, Heidi. You got
Yeah,
that
it is
right.
the best. Oh my God, yes.
It
Yeah,
really
we also
is.
live in a house that was built before 1990. Okay.
Yeah.
No kidding. And it's got no special wiring in it. There's no Alexa in here.
Yeah.
We can't turn the lights off and off by going, none of that.
No,
I'm not
a smart
kidding you.
home would scare me, because what if it didn't let you in? Like, I don't recognize you.
Exactly.
Or what if it locked you in?
No joke, folks. This is really bad. People are asleep to how bad it is.
Yeah, well, one of the problems with this is they talk to you. They're psychic. They can use psychic technology on you now. And while you're sleeping, you're being programmed. That's why I tell people, go to bed, turn off your bloody Wi-Fi, Faraday your phone away from your body, and sleep technology free and do whatever it takes. So literally do whatever it takes, because they're talking to you at night. You don't realize how triggered you are by everything because of that alone. Your TV, while you're watching TV, you're being contacted psychically. It's not a joke anymore. It's real. Okay. This is not a conspiracy. This
subliminals are not illegal. There was a whole lawsuit about it, and it was allowed to go through. They're playing subliminal. This is stuff you can't consciously see, but it's in there.
Well, it's more than that.
You go to the stores, they're saying bye, 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 bye. It's absolutely a thing, and it's effective.
Sit in your living room.
Studies on this.
Sit in your living room and openly discuss what you want to buy next week, and watch the commercials come up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it hears you. It knows what you're thinking, and it actually gives you what you want. It shows you the way to go, because it wants to make money off of you any way it can. Okay. If you're worried about making a decision about something, somehow the TV will organize things to make you think a certain way for that reason.
God.
Where privacy has become a complete illusion.
Right. Yeah. If you want to know something, read a doggone book. Okay. Go to the library and pray it's a good library that has lots of really good reference information in it and stuff that tells the truth. Because just read books, read basic books, read books that are older than 1990. Okay. Just go back and read good books. Look at publication dates. Read magazines that are published, without commercials in them. Things like that. Dig up old movies and stuff like that you can watch on your phone.
I mean, if these powers that be hate us so much, why don't they just nuke us and get it over with?
Because they need us to the bitter end of things. They need everything that we can provide. All the energy that we expend to line their pocket and their little hidey holes, they need from us. Absolutely. They don't need us that much now, though, because they're about to turn out a robot revolution on us that is unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you something. We are so close now to seeing another disease show up, a war start.
God.
There's going to be depopulation coming, rapidly coming. There is a UFO false flag. They are working very hard to make this a national security incident worldwide. And they're going to make you think that you're being attacked by ETs, and you're not.
Yeah, what I don't think they understand is this is absolutely clinically psychotic behavior.
Yeah, it is.
We are all connected. And if you're putting chemtrails in the sky, well, guess what? You're breathing it too.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
Unless they have an antidote that we don't know about. I mean,
no, they don't have antidotes. They have houses that are sealed.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not going to work. And if you're poisoning the population, like AIDS, we pretty much tracked that to being
I'll tell you something. Okay, I never thought I'd bring this up, but I'm bringing it up. Yeah. I want to tell you something. My father was in the military industrial complex, and unfortunately, I had to live with that for a long time. Okay. And one of the things is they know your family. They know your family. And breeding revolutions go on in these families, because you go to their your coming out party, your 16-year-old coming out party, and you meet all these boys, and these are boys, from the oligarchies and all, and everybody's looking everybody over, and families are pushing kids toward each other. They try to do that to me as well. And I was like, nope. And my dad laughed about it. He thought it was funny. I did not. Okay. Think about how many of these families are breeding with one another because they are the elite.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay? They have all the best medical care. They're not taking all these bad drugs. They're not doing any of that stuff. No. They're keeping themselves as healthy as they possibly can. And we're all eating fodder. Yeah,
absolutely. And their kids don't play with the technology that they create.
Yeah. Do you know how much good food you should be eating right now that doesn't exist anymore? Because they're the only ones getting it. We get the
garbage.
Yeah. And I'm old enough to tell you that I know absolutely this is truth. I've watched our grocery choices go way down. Too. The processed foods, you read the labels and you go, oh,
modified. They have to, it's in tiny itty bitty little lettering. So you might need to bring your reading glasses. Thankfully, I can read it still. It's on there.
The other thing, Preston, that bothers me is they're putting bugs. They're making these mealworm flour, and I heard the FDA is giving them approval to do this without telling us that it's not real.
They have fake meat now too, and they've started. They're inoculating beginning in November every chicken on the U.S. soil with mRNA bird flu.
So we're screwed either way. Basically.
Stop eating the damn chicken. I know you have to think.
Yeah, this is why it's important to move off grid. The contactees have gotten the message. ETs have tried so hard to bring this information out, and they've done it. Thank God, that they have worked real hard to help at least segments of humanity.
Yeah, you want to start a revolution, everybody? Here you go. You all need to tell the President of the United States that he needs to pay attention to what the FDA is doing right now, that they need to stop those vaccines right now. You all need to complain to him point blank that the vaccines, because I don't know if he knows how much of the truth about that there is about mRNA, but the FDA works alone without the president having too much to do with it. The FDA does not, he's not in real control of that. Y'all think he does, but he's not. They do stuff behind his back. We need to shut the FDA down. The Federal Drug and Food Administration needs to go bye-bye. They need no more power.
You also need to be careful who you associate with. If you're a contactee or you're someone who's, connected, you might get approached by these Illuminati folks. There's a lady who learned how to do telepathy really good. She was good at it. These guys approached her and said, you can join us. You can have everything you want. We'll pay for you. She's like, no, I'm not drunk. Colin Andrews, a famous researcher, he went public and says, guess what? They tried to bring me in. And you'll get messages on Facebook. Oh, come join the Illuminati.
Yeah, they're very overt now. They used to be, they were a little bit more clandestine. Oh, they're just right up. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Two quick things. This statement by Dr. C. Mack said James Cameron was right on the money. His Terminator films, all prophetic. Same thing for The Running Man, The Minority Report, Truman Show. They're doing. It's like maybe they're time. I know it sounds whacked, but maybe they're time traveling. Like these people that are writing these scripts.
No,
how are they getting this?
Carolyn, these plans have been active and implemented since the 1960s.
How do they get this information?
Yeah, there's a push-pull. The media is very controlled, but there are people who are very creative and know how to flip this information
This information has been known for years and years and years, and it directly comes from us. It's not coming from the future. Please don't believe that. They've known since the 50s and the 60s what they were going to do, and they've been implementing it all along. And yes, there are people who are going to go, I'm not putting up with this. I'm going to tell the truth about it. And it's leaks, okay? We're not really good secret keepers, okay? Some are, some aren't. This is not a futuristic person coming back and warning you. It's because there are people on this planet who are not as brave as I am and Preston there to sit here and tell you the truth about it right out in your face, okay? And they do it through that type of thing. It's controversial, okay? Horribly controversial all the way around that we look at it, because that's what they have implemented in every human mind on this planet, that it's all controversy, all controversy. You don't have to believe it. Let's go over here. Deniable plausibility. Okay, I'm going to read you something. I read it almost every show I do now because I want you to hear it.
Good.
It's that important, okay? This is directly coming from ET themselves, not a joke.
Oh.
Real, 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 real. I want you to hear every word of it, okay? Let me pull it up. I was dictated this to. I was told word for word, and then they looked at it to make sure that I got it right before I was allowed to publish, okay?
Well, while you're pulling it up, let me just tell a quick story of this. Okay. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I'm ready. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Disclosure from those in authority over humanity will always tactically use plausible deniability Their agenda supersedes all humanity. Our reality is their construct. It is their power and its weaponization which impugns explanations to any explanation to humanity. Therefore, learn all that is learnable. Understand all of us and each of us must use our abilities to discern our position in their paradigm. Wisdom is your freedom from their tyranny. When ET goes that far to warn, that's a direct warning from ET. Point blank, I've had it for over a year. It's on my Facebook page. I put it out when I talk every single time. Listen to words. You can go to my Facebook page and go through my, the pictures at the top, not the round picture, but the big one. It's there for you to see.
Yeah,
that
phrase needs to be studied. It's very packed with information. Each sentence, it's very cleverly written. You have to really take a close look at it.
Yes, they did. It was quoted to me, and I sat there writing it down word for word. They looked at it to make sure I had it right, spelling, composition, the whole thing. And I was told point blank, put it out now. I have two of them. I have another one that's in the beginning of Symmetry from Talata himself. I'll read that one to you. You go tell your story while I look for that one, Preston.
All right. Yeah, this is just how tightly controlled the media is when it comes to UFOs. I wrote a book, UFOs Over New York, which, every state has their own sort of history of encounters.
Yeah.
And there was this sighting that was right in downtown New York, right in front of the news building of this major news service. All the newsmen saw it, and they tried to write up a story, and it was immediately quashed. They're like, but wait, we saw it. We're the news guys. We're credible witnesses. Multiple witness case, real close. Couple of 100 feet, they saw this object. This is what we call a display.
Who quashed that? Who was it? The manager of the newspaper? Like who told them not to?
The higher up, the monkey mucks. We don't know exactly who these guys are who own these stations.
Jeez.
Because each of them has a front man.
Right.
So it's in my book. I don't have all the exact details in terms of dates and the names of people, but it's in there.
Yeah,
it's a story that just stuck with me, because there's another book called The Missing Times. His last name is Hansen, and he lays it out in black and white how tightly controlled the media is when it comes to the UFO subject.
Yeah.
All these stories are quashed, and I've got many examples of this.
Right. Okay. This is a direct quote from my main contact, Talata. Okay, he indwells the craft that I fly. He is ancient. He's a fifth dimensional non-corporeal being. He's a light being. Okay, and when we were writing Symmetry, he said, "I have something to say," and I said, "Okay," and he said, "It has to be in the beginning of the book. You have to write it down word for word." And he said, "I'll talk to you about it afterwards, but why I said what I said, but you need to understand it now. You need to write it now." I said, "Okay," because he was getting ready to publish. Okay, so I want you to understand that everything we do should not be from hate, should not be from any of the bad things that you can think of. None of the 7 deadly sins, none of that, no avarice, nothing. The one thing that counts in every human being across the universe is love, and you have to understand what that is. He was trying to teach. This is his statement about it. He says, "Be strong in love. Love is what carries through. Love is what heals. Love is the strength of life. Love has no limit. Therefore, let love become who you are. Let love evolve to its fruition. Let the light that is love burn bright. Let its wisdom guide you to higher understanding, and let its power move you to teach its power to others. Love, be strong in love." If we just learn that first, because it involves us completely. It's love of self, love of neighbor, love of family, love of friends, love of everybody, all of us. We are all one people, all of us throughout the universe. They are us, we are them, we are all one. And love is the guiding light. Love is pure light. Love is who we are. And yet, while we're in this body walking around, we can do some really stupid damage to that.
Oh, yeah.
Literally stupid damage. And we need to wake up to what that really is. And you let it sink in.
That's another one that deserves to be studied, because you're not just saying, well, let love guide your actions. No, let love become who you are.
Right.
That will guide your actions.
Exactly.
So it's
and all this
things that need to be studied.
Right.
Yeah. And all this divisiveness over politics and religion, and it's killing us. It really
Right.
is.
Yeah, because we're all emotional over
Right.
everything. We've been triggered to be emotional without thinking. We're triggered to believe the delusion. We're triggered to believe the lie. We're triggered.
Yeah.
And so when the truth hits us, it's almost like a blow to the chest. And,
Yeah.
and people react very badly to it. And that's how conditioned we are to be a certain way now. And we don't sit down. How you react is paramount. Love doesn't react blindly or stupidly or forcefully. Love considers everything first, and it knows everything, and then it acts. You know, you can see all kinds of things going on. Unless it requires you to protect, immediately protect, you have time to sit there and think about what you just saw or what just happened, and let that guide you. That guide your understanding, because there's wisdom in that. Okay.
Yeah.
We react with complete, I don't even know what to call it. We're like 2-year-olds crying for mama. You know, oh, I need a safe place to be. Oh
Right.
my God, that's not right. Yeah, can that be right? Well, we didn't come here to have it easy, period, the end. Okay? This is not an easy classroom to be in.
True.
None of us have it easy in this classroom. None of us.
Which is
And
good.
everything we do has a reaction. And everything we say is heard. And
Yeah.
if you want good, do good. If you want to be an idiot, you're going to cause trouble.
Exactly.
You
I
know?
want to bring something up. I want to bring something up because we mentioned this earlier, but I want to preface it by saying, you know, study the near-death experiences, the
Yes.
near-death books, because they always get the same message that the two things that matter are love and wisdom. That's all you can bring with you. That's what you're here to learn. Now, what's interesting is near-death experiencers describe how they see their body, they go through a tunnel, they have a life review, they meet deceased relatives, and they go to the light. And if those who've described seeing the light describe it as this absolutely wonderful, all-knowing, it's what we might even call God.
Yeah.
It's becoming connected to
Everything
what we
at
call the
one time.
all-mind.
Yeah.
Now, there's this piece of disinformation going around that I am furious about.
Yeah.
I was on the Art Bell show. He asked me about this, and it floored me.
Yeah.
There are people who don't go towards the light. It's a trap.
Yes. We were
That is
talking
not-
about that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring that up, because that is the most dangerous, ludicrous, absurd piece of disinformation I've ever heard.
They don't want you to be in love.
Yeah. When you go to the other side and you have an out-of-body experience, and you go to what you might call the heavenly realms, the garden realms,
Yeah.
every blade of grass is glowing with light. All the trees,
Oh,
all
yeah.
the flowers, the people are glowing with light. It is made of light. To not go towards the light would be to basically go to hell, the very dark lower realms where there are
Oh,
shadows.
good Lord.
And so it's a huge, dangerous disinformation. It's trying to keep you trapped in the circle of karma, and I don't even know what.
I wouldn't think we'd even have a choice. You know, once we
We
pass,
do.
do we? So
Oh,
you could
yeah.
either choose the light or not. Is that?
Yes, this is how people become earthbound. This
Yeah.
is how people end up becoming exterminated from the universe because they chose evil.
Right.
And
You
you
can
get
destroy
recycled.
us all. Yeah. I want to bring something up. Somebody brought up the neurons in the heart, and that's
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
the
that was
actual
good.
neurological brain of the heart. When you're conceived, the electricity, the light that you are, your consciousness, goes in as an electrical charge into your body, and that those first cells become your heart. We are embedded. Your consciousness lives in your heart. The node for your consciousness is living in your heart. Your physical mind is a different thing completely. Who you are, consciousness is tied to your body through your heart. When people say, oh, my chest hurts, or I can't handle it because it's hurting my chest. Of course it is. Your consciousness is sitting there going, cut it out.
Right.
Okay, stop. That's your first intuition to know that something's wrong, or your belly gets sick from knowing that something bad's coming. That's your heart. That's where you indwell your body. Talada has a heart on board his craft. It's a centralized heart where he's connected to the body of this machine. This is how this works. This is the natural science of indwelling something to be in this dimension. Okay. I want you to understand.
Back this up, by the way. There are people who've had half their brain removed, most of their brain. There's someone out there with almost no brain, and they're still functioning fine.
Yeah, I've heard those
They
stories.
know this, and if you talk to people who've had mental problems on the other side, they're whole beings, and they will thank you for like treating me like an absolute normal person, because they are. It's their physical brain that has some challenges.
I'm going to tell you something you don't know about that. They can take the hemispheres, like half your hemispheres and all, but they leave the hippocampus, they leave the pituitary, they leave the pineal gland, all the important pieces in your brain that operate to communicate with your consciousness are still intact. That's why they don't need that much gray matter. They're still in contact with consciousness, which is really running the show. You're not speaking from just your cranium. You're speaking from your consciousness. There's no such thing as unconsciousness, by the way. You are not an unconscious person. You are 100% conscious. Because your body has to physically sleep doesn't mean you'd stop thinking. You're alive and aware 24/7, period.
100%.
Constantly.
Yep.
Right.
Well, that's why I love things like the telepathy tapes, because there's so much beauty and truth in that. And we're all capable of these. We all have these abilities and gifts, and we just suppress them. Our food, like we said before, the air, everything is designed to suppress that within us. And it's tragic.
Yeah, but it's inevitable that people progress, because as we gain experience, it's like a flower. You can't stop a flower from blooming. Sooner or later, once it gets enough light and water, it's going to bloom.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look upon it. And the government cover-up is going to collapse under the weight of its own lies.
Why do you think they're allowing, Preston, these whistleblowers to sit in Congress and make all these statements about biologics and psychic connections to ET?
It's a last-ditch effort by the the power elite to insert more disinformation.
It's the
narrative.
They're getting ready to launch, and they have begun. It is happening as we speak. They have launched, and it is going to get more and more and more until you wake up one day and you think you're being attacked by ETs. That's a fact. I can't see it any more soberly than that. It is going to happen. It is happening.
What is that? Project Bluebeam? Is that,
there's so much disinformation out there. It's hard to, what they're going to allow. And they know what it is already. They know what they're going to allow for you to believe. Okay.
But look at Atlas. You mentioned the AI Atlas in the notes. So this is a good example of how disinformation and fear is being spun into the public narrative. Because if you go on Facebook and see AI Atlas, the horror, the fear mongering, the disinformation is off the charts.
And they're using scientists. Government-owned scientists to do it, okay? I can't say this enough, and I'm going to say it straight to his face on this channel, and you can pass the information along. Avi, you are not doing anybody any favors by talking the way you do, and your funding is not going to help you in the end. You need to stop now, because you are causing humanity great harm by this. You need to stop. 3I Atlas is a comet. It is an unusual comet, and we're starting to see them because we can see things better, but it doesn't make it anything else but a comet. ET does not travel in conventional space.
Underline that, Dolly. They do not travel that way. Think about this.
Yeah, that makes
been around for a very long time. They're not here to take over. They're not here to harm. It's quite the opposite. Take a look at the onboard experience objectively, removing the fear, and you can see exactly the sequence of events that is really good for humanity. They're not going to take 3 months or whatever it is to come here and shoot us. It's ridiculous.
It's comical.
I know. Every single human being on this planet has a right to be here. Every single human being on this planet, and all the animals and all the flora and all the fauna are here for a reason. And we do not have the autonomy to destroy it. And we do not have the autonomy to lie about it. We have a moral responsibility to accept reality and do what we can to function within the parameters of where we live, amongst each other as well as on this planet. That is a direct quote from Plata as I speak to you, is in my head right now. And that just came out of my mouth through him. It is unbelievably imperative that everybody on this planet, within the sound of this voice, understands that you do not have the right to cause harm. You do not have the right It is going to destroy you, and you must stop now.
Yeah, and it's not too late. There are people who are on the wrong side of history right now who could stop right now. Stop the lying. Everyone knows what the right thing is. You know, there's no big secret about what is right and wrong. You can feel it right in your heart.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you're doing something the right way. Don't choose evil. Why would you? You know, it causes so much harm. I'm going back to the near-death experiences because people have this life review. And when you do someone nice for someone, you get to feel it.
You do. Effects.
And it ripples out because that person you helped helps others. But there's the flip side. I interviewed a guy who had a hard life. And he says, I was not a nice person. And not only did he feel all the harm he gave to others, he felt all the harm that those people he hurt also hurt. So he said it rippled out so that he was feeling the pain of thousands of people, and he was responsible for it.
Oh, good Lord.
Luckily, he had a near-death experience. Good for him. He learned a lesson that was brutal, that a lot of people aren't going to learn until they're on the other side, and boy, are they going to have a hard time.
I know. For every action, there is an equal or opposite reaction, and we are all in control of ourselves over that. Everything we do has repercussion. Everything. And we cannot silence others for doing the right thing. And we cannot silence others for being proper or responsible for reality. By doing so, we are causing unimaginable, irreparable harm to all of humanity. It's not just the people near you. It's worldwide. That's right. It is negative energy that does not belong here, should not be here.
Yeah, and when you go to the upper realms, you know, it doesn't exist, you know, because there's telepathy there, and you are your whole true person, and stuff like that cannot survive. There's no evil on the higher planes. There is in the lower planes. It's bad. Yeah. But here on Earth, boy, oh boy, it is not. It's a mess. It's an honest to God cesspool of evil trying to find a foothold in everybody.
Well, they're using music. They're using music, movies. I mean, you name it. Video games to push this satanic agenda of theirs. So
you still have the authority not to imbibe it at all. You have the authority, self-authority to not pay for it, not buy it, not have it in your life, to put it away from you, to let go of it. There's so much more to learn than that. There's so many other things that could occupy your time and enrich you as a human being, and bring you up in evolution and make you wise and knowledgeable with the right kind of energetic power to embolden you to help others with that power as well, positively. It doesn't matter that they do that. All we have to do is say no.
I know, but if you think about this 16-year-old rapper kid who wants fame and fortune, and they come at him with all this garbage, you
still have the right to say no. That's what you need to teach your children before they leave your house.
Dolly, of course,
what I'm saying,
of course.
I know, but what I'm saying is you have the ability to teach that right now to everybody who's hearing your voice. And if you say but and then, that you're not helping the situation. You have to be positive.
I'm trying to make a point that
the point is that you have the right to say no. You have the right to say no.
But there's millions of kids out there that want this wealth and fortune, and they're not being taught the correct principles.
But they can be.
By their
and parents. That is your responsibility as well as mine.
Yeah, that's why we need to start teaching meditation in schools.
Absolutely, Preston.
I cannot make excuses for what's going on, but what I can do is teach the truth. That is all our obligation. That is your responsibility as a human being to teach the truth. And if you keep saying but and this is going on with no answer to it, you're not helping.
It's almost impossible to teach people who don't want to learn.
Unacceptable. Yeah, it's unacceptable behavior for a human to enact in. And you tell these people who are listening to you on this line right now, fervently tell them, do not hurt yourself anymore. Do not hurt others. There's a better way. I don't need religion to tell you that. I just need moral responsibility to tell you that. And I need you to hear the truth. And if you don't believe me, figure it out. rapidly. And if we said that over and over without the buts and the questions and the wherefores and the whyfores, we would start cutting through this. Really
Dolly, speak about how ETs, like when someone does something wrong among the ETs, they don't put them in jail.
No, they do not.
They don't punish them. They have a very effective method. You want to explain?
For dealing with it, yeah.
When you're wide open psychic, you hear them all the time. Everybody is in consensus with everybody. There's nothing I can't learn instantly from somebody I'm in consensus with, okay? Contact, okay? So a couple times I did something that was not okay. It was a human, stupid, fallible thing on my part. And everybody went dead silent. Clean across the universe, I didn't hear anybody anymore. It was silent. And it took me all of 5 minutes to realize that the noise went away, the sound went away. Nobody was in consensus with me. And it freaked me 100% out. And I asked Mama instantly, did I just do something wrong? Because I had that one feeling from them that I just stepped on something and I need to figure it out right now. Mm-hmm. And she said, yeah, you did. And I said, what did I do? And she said, that's not for me to tell you. You now must go back and walk through your day and realize where you made the mistake. And then you must correct it. And I walked out of the room. I went to my room. I sat down and I literally started meditating through my whole day. And then when I realized what I had done, it horrified me. I was shocked that I did that. Okay. I'm not going to tell you what it was because it's pretty damn bad. Okay. I don't want to admit it now. It was bad. I can be sarcastic and I can flail you with your own words. I'm very good at it. Okay. And I did something. I bit into somebody that I had no right to bite into sarcastically. And I thought, how am I going to fix this? Then I realized who it affected. It didn't just affect me and them. It affected everybody who heard it. They were assailed by those emotions. And I thought, oh my God. And then I thought, well, how do you make up for this? What do I do? You know? And basically what I tried to do at first was almost the right thing to do. I had to work on it a little bit harder. By the end of the day, I went and back to these people. I sat them all down with me and asked for 5 minutes of their time. I held my hands out to them and I said, forgive me. I did wrong to you. I had no right to do that. Do you understand what that did to me? I was blubbering all over myself because I realized that I had got through and done something so bad, it shut them up. And I said, please forgive me because I'm having a hard time forgiving myself.
Yeah, and we can do this. Indigenous societies don't have jails. You know, the Native American populations employed this exact kind of method. They would just put that, everyone knew what you had done.
You are Native American and you got set outside the village, there was a reason for it. If you got people turn their backs on you, that was a reason for that. And it was to teach you moral responsibility. It was to teach you to understand what morality really is. Morality is a big subject. It's a huge subject. And most of the people on this planet don't even have a clue what it encompasses. Okay? I want to give you, for instance, about my own child, Niji, my own child. My own child wanted to go golf. And she came home from school because, you know, when you're psychic and you hear everything, they think you can figure things out really, really, really fast. But she started involving a friend. And it started spreading throughout the school. I went to her room and I gathered all her goth clothes, all her goth paperwork, all her goth books, all her goth makeup, shoes, accessories, all of it, and folded it up neatly and put it on her bed and waited for her to come home. When she did, I said, this is not who we are. You don't have to be something to figure yourself out. You don't have to follow a tribe to know who you are. You are an individual, and this is not who you were taught you were. Now I want you to sit and explain to me who you think you are, and let's go from there. And she looked at me. She was like, oh my God, this is real. You're going to do this. And I said, you bet. I said, who are you? Why is it that you have to go to this extreme to get attention somehow? What is missing? What are we not doing that's not helping you express who you are? Truly who you are, because this isn't natural. This is an application of something that isn't real. And then it turned. I took it all away from her. We put it in a box. I folded it up and I took it somewhere and gave it away.
Yeah.
I wanted to burn it, but I did that. Okay. She graduated from high school. She went into her life. And then she realized one day she woke up and she went, oh my God, my mother was right. I know who I am. I know what life means to me. I know which my path is. I know what I have to do to be a responsible human being. And she's flying in that direction. As a parent, that is my job. That was my honor-bounded duty. I chose that path. Parents on this planet, take heed. If you're not doing that with your children, you are not doing what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Humanity needs to do this. If you want the answer to why, there's your answer, because we're failing. But we're talking about it now. We're saying what should happen. We're saying what y'all need to sit back and consider. Y'all need to look up what morality is. Y'all need to look up all the possibilities of what morality encompasses. You need to
I wish we would
yourself.
teach morality to. It should be a requirement for anyone who holds office.
Ethics. There should be an ethics class.
Ethics is part of morality.
Mm-hmm.
And it all boils down to our autonomy and the responsibility of what that is. You do not have the right to do harm. Buddha said it. Everybody's confused about what he meant. That's what he meant. You do not have the right to do harm. Do no harm. That is the first rule of morality. Do no harm. And what that encompasses. Look what he gave up. Look how he lived his life. Okay? Look what he said to people. And he wasn't a god. He was just somebody who figured it out real fast. He learned. Yeah. Okay?
Look at how many doctors violated that oath over the past 5 years. It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this Bugasphere thing, because this is another thing. We have a little bit of time left. Who wants to start with maybe explaining for folks that don't know what it is? Preston, you want to start?
I'm not a Bugasphere expert. I've been following this story. And the second I saw this thing, I was immediately skeptical of this being. Oh, got a big dog.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately skeptical of this being ET. And I'm just following the story because I don't know anything about it that isn't in the public arena. But it doesn't match the research that I've done in terms of this being a genuine extraterrestrial object. I might be wrong about that. Dolly would probably have more information. The Betts sphere. Have you heard of that? The Betts sphere was something the Betts family found and had all these amazing properties, and it was studied for years. That is genuine. If you look into that one, that's incredible. So I know much more about that one. That one really intrigued me. Now they're saying that, this is 13,000 years old. It's the resin in it.
Yeah.
The guy just said, well, it's not actually the resin. It's a part of what's in the resin. If you do close-ups on it, you can see that the construction of it is not as precise as you would think ET would do.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that.
Why haven't they sliced it open? What is this? It should be easy enough to determine the elements that it's made of. So, I don't know. I just don't know enough about it to make a real.
I can give you some scientific facts that will help you understand whether this is real or not.
Okay.
Resin wouldn't be on anything ET. It would burn off in seconds. Okay? This is an element that's here that we use to preserve things like wood and things like that. Okay? It would go into flames. So nobody put anything on it. ET would not have used resin in the manufacture. The sphere itself would not be made from material from this planet. It would not have bells and whistles or joints of any kind. It would be a solid sphere that you couldn't get in.
Right. Which is what the Betts sphere is. BETZ. Right. Look that up. Yeah. That's an incredible story.
Yeah. The Buga sphere is a manufactured lie. And I'm saying this from my experience, my knowledge of ET and how they make things. The Buga sphere is a great big lie. It is not real. And the things that are said about it are incredibly bad.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Yeah. Let me just show people. So this is this Betts sphere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, look into the story. There's a video out there somewhere that has the whole story. It's truly astonishing.
Kind of
And
looks
I'll
a
tell
little
you
like
about it. And this is ET tech, right?
Yeah, there's one real picture of it right there. That one, the guy with his arm around it. That's it. That's what it is. Okay, and it's old. It's old, and it doesn't. It is somewhat energetic, but it won't operate completely and fully. And they're afraid to open it because they don't know what it would do to them if they did.
who has this thing now?
I think it disappeared in somewhere. I think the Betts family still has it, or I don't know. I don't know where it is.
I guarantee you the military-industrial complex got their blade claws on it.
Oh, geez, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So why are they making, is this just another PSYOP with this
yes,
here?
well, it's because it's part of the false flag. They do have technology back engineered of spheres that can now fly, anti-grav. And they can do things, and they can watch you and do weird stuff. They're like little teeny round drones that the governments have back engineered. That's why, and they want you to think that that's ET coming for you.
And I love crop circles, and I kind of like the symbolism. Kind of reminded me a little bit about that on the Buga sphere. I don't know. I don't know. You don't know what's truth and isn't these days. Crop circles are real though, right, guys? I mean, most of them,
like 89.999% are real, yeah.
It's not Doug and Dave using a plank of wood to create these all over the world.
Right, yeah. A lot of them have calculations, mathematics on them that are so advanced that, scientists are going, oh my God, very precise. And they've asked a few questions and transmitted questions and got answers through them. So yeah, they are real.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's good to know.
ET's not going to totally ignore everybody. They'll answer you if you have the way to ask them the question, and it's one that they feel that they should answer.
Yeah, the misinformation, disinformation game is out of control. There was a case in Belgium where a guy took a photograph of a UFO. Later, it was declared a fake. More recently, he said, no, actually, it's real, but I was paid to say that it was fake.
What?
So now that completely destroys the story either way. Real or fake, I'm not touching
You'll never know the truth, right? Exactly. Plausible deniability. Okay? I use that word freely. Plausible deniability. They've got you coming and going with information. Yeah.
The alien autopsy film, we know is fake.
Right.
However, in its essentials, it's 100% true. That did happen exactly as it's portrayed, but the whole thing is fake.
Yeah.
Right. So is J-Rod, just saying.
It's absolute nonsense the way they're very clever in it. They'll insert truth and make everything that's true completely fake.
Well, this way you question your own authenticity. You don't know. And
then the same thing at the extreme.
Exactly. It's the same thing with AI. When you look at, like 10 years ago, I would look at a video of an ET and I'd marvel at it. And my brain would go, wow, that looks, it's got to be real. And I've had all these fantasies. Now I look at a video and I'm like, that's got to be AI. That's fake. You don't know what's real anymore. You can't even.
They're not good at it. Yeah, well, they're going to rely on that as well. AI is going to also be part of what makes you think ET is real. They have 12D holographic technology as well. They're going to show it up in the sky, and you're going to really think it's coming after you.
Okay, so Dolly, if they do that, what happens next? If it's a hologram, it can't do anything.
What's behind the hologram can. We have technology in the sky that can shoot a laser on you so fast you won't know it hit you.
Oh, okay. So they're going to
pierce your brain with sound technology so bad it's scrambling your brain.
Here's how it's going to go down:
go ahead.
Put up an army of craft that's almost all holograms except for a couple of them. And then these things, they can shoot laser beams from satellites down and fry things. Yeah. So that's essentially what they're going to do. You're going to see the sky filled with craft, and only a few of them are real, if any of them.
Right.
So I'm hoping the CME comes and wipes out all these satellites, because that's going to be really
that's my fervent hope. These guys aren't going to win this war. Yeah. I would like to see humanity survive, or at least survive long enough to have a chance to survive.
Will ET step in at some point and do something,
No.
Dolly?
No. It's all us. It's all up to us. We either stop this or we go through it, and that's our lesson. You're going to die no matter what you do when you come here, one way or the other. Okay? And you're not here to play games. You're here to learn. And whatever faults you have while you're here, whatever things that you do that are stinking thinking, you're going to reap the reward of what you did. Okay? And we all have a decision to make. We have one ultimate decision that's been taken from us, and this is the one that I'm going to speak to right now. You have the right to know the truth about what's coming at you. You have the right not to die stupid. You have the right to decide what your end game is going to be, because it's coming. It will happen. Either you're going to survive long enough for ET to come back once the poles finish changing, which will be after the CME and before the micronova, or you're going to end up dying. My dad taught me this very young. He called it First Responders Club. And during the Cuban Missile Crisis, we would take lawn chairs and go outside, and we would face south, dead south. And he said, this is what we'll do. We'll all come out here and put the chairs down. If they start throwing nukes, we'll get to see it happen. You won't feel it hit you, but it will. It will be the end of us. But we'll get to see the pretty of it, or the shock wave of it, if you want to call it that, before we end, because there's no way out of it. We were in the very tip of Florida. We were in the Everglades. You couldn't dig 10 feet without hitting water. There was no underground shelter for us, okay? And he said, it's better for us to know what's coming and to greet it, ready to go, because we know we're not going to die, really. We're just moving through. And I said, okay. And then he expounded on that throughout my whole life. He said, you know what's coming. You are aware of what's coming. He said, are you a first responder? And I said, yes, sir. He said, if you're in a position where you have no choice and you have to go through it, will you go through it? I said, well, eyes open. He said, that's what I expected you. And I said, good. I am not afraid to meet my mortality. Okay. I'm not afraid to meet the end of my mortality here. I'm not afraid of anything because of that, because I know that I go on. Now I have a responsibility toward that, to tell the truth and then live in joy every day until those moments hit. I know they're coming, but I'm not going to fret and worry about them. I'm not going to lose sleep over them. I'm still going to live in joy and be happy while I'm doing it, because that's the greatest lesson we can all learn, is to learn all that is learnable and then proceed. Okay. We have an exciting time right now. It's either we all know what the end result's going to be. We know we have a choice to make how we're going to greet that, but we still have to live. We still have to love. We still have to be people.
Of course.
Okay. And that's the greatest gift you can give yourself. It's the knowledge of truth and what really is. Then there's no fear. There's no fear. I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah,
and
if you can move past fear, it affects every aspect of your life. And as important it is to know everything that's going on around you, it's equally important to know that everything that's going on within you. This is how you can spiritually develop, because we are all psychic. You might not think you're psychic, like, oh no, I've never even had a paranormal experience. Well, Earth itself is a paranormal experience.
That's right.
And the fact is, we do know. Everyone gets feelings, and it might be what we call, quote, subconscious. That's a misnomer. The fact is, you do know, and if you pay attention to what's going on within you, you'll start having precognition, because you are anyway. You do know things that are about to happen.
Yeah, your consciousness lives outside this dimension, your interdimensional consciousness, and it knows the future, and it will tell it to you every now and then. You'll hear it. Your consciousness will go, this is coming, right? That's your personal message from yourself, because it already knows what's coming. Prepare.
Yeah.
Right? I think
the trick is to be aware of it.
That too. When you get a deja vu, I think that's a whisper.
That's you telling you what the heck's going on.
Absolutely.
I love it when that happens. I'm like, whoa.
They're so awesome, right? Yeah. I had one just the other day, because sometimes you don't get them for a long time. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they come and you're like, whoa, that was really nice. Yeah, they're awesome.
Like, thank you. It's like, oh, congratulate yourself. You just felt really cool. Yeah, it's awesome. It really is awesome. It's a joy to live in the soup of reality. It's a joy to live in the soup of consciousness. It's a joy to live clear conscience, clear sentient, to know what's really going on around you all the time. That when people are speaking to you, you hear them thinking to you at the same time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know their heart. You know who they are. And that's more beautiful than anything in the world.
Yeah.
Anything.
Synchronicity is so amazing.
You're going to get a deja vu now any day. Any day.
There was one story I heard on TV. It made me laugh so hard, but it had this pearl of wisdom in it. These two people got married, and the husband's looking through her old photos. She had taken a selfie of herself in Europe, and he was in the background looking at her.
No way.
They did not know each other. This was years before they were that close.
Wow,
I love got married.
That's great.
That's 0 degrees of separation right there.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that.
Just goes to show there's guidance out there.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Were there any questions in there? Did you guys happen to notice? Did we miss? I know somebody asked about shadow people, which is off topic, but that's okay.
That's a second dimensional being. That's a person who's in the second dimension watching you. They come off as a flat, dark being, you know. It's a second dimensional being that you're actually perceiving and seeing. You're looking at each other. And they're not evil, they're not demented, they just happen to be in the second dimension.
I was just going to ask you that because a lot of people think they're evil and they have nefarious intentions. They don't.
I had a love-hate relationship with one. It started watching me when I was in Florida. I think it was trying to warn me, honestly. Now that I look, but when you have time to like debrief yourself over what this was, it was constantly around when I had the worst of the CIA watching me. Okay. And it was stand across the street in front of one of their cars, as a matter of fact, that was planted there, you know, all the time. And it was just like, look at me. I'm like, why are you here? Why are you bothering me? Because I felt irritated by it. What I wasn't really perceiving was it was the message that was irritating to me. And it was, you got something's happening. All right. It was literally trying to warn me, I think. But I used to go outside and run after it, chase it. Okay. Because I knew where it was. I could see it. And one day I went out there and I had my camera because I'm determined I'm going to get a picture of you, SOB, right? And he gave me the middle finger. And I got that on film. I got him on film. No and I was like, Preston's seen it. And I was like, you know what? And in his mind, he's thinking to me and he's saying, it's not far long. That's what the message I got. It's not far long. And I swear to you, it wasn't a month later that they tried to board the house. When my daughter and my son-in-law went to Tallahassee for something, I was in the house alone. That's when they tried to nail me again. They tried to abduct me at the military industrial complex. And Talata just happened to be watching me very closely and let him have it. And that's on film too. We got that on film. Okay. And he disappeared after that. I never saw him again. And I thought, well, I got rid of him. No, I didn't. He was just trying to tell
around, me. Just because you're not seeing, ghosts does not mean the ghosts aren't around you.
Yeah. Exactly. It's also light beings watching you, fourth and fifth dimensional beings we think are our guardian angels. And they
what happened?
Because they live with us. They see you every day and they get you out of trouble sometimes. People all the time say that I would not be alive if this being hadn't showed up. It's got to be my guardian angel because they're very religious. It's a light being and it lives with you and it watches you every day and it loves you and it doesn't want you to die now. It knows you're not supposed to. That's who they are. We have to learn to see what's really going on. It's important. You are not alone. Not alone. You are.
Oh, yeah, but he's here. What's up with that guy?
I popped this question up because I saw this earlier and he rewrote it. I don't like to criticize people. I will say I did see Bashar as a young man, and he gave me a reading out of a group, and he pointed to me and he says, "You have something to do with UFOs." This was before I was well known.
Oh, wow!
I said, "Yeah." He says, "You're an ET in a past life, and you're here to anchor the ET energy." I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." He says, "Do you get headache?" That's what he said. But then he said, "Do you get headaches? You have bad headaches." No, I don't get headaches. I almost never get headaches.
Never.
So I think he's probably got some psychic ability, but I've been listening to his stuff recently and I'm like, how can I put it? I'm not really kind of vibing with it.
Yeah. I don't channel.
Predictions that I'm like,
I don't channel and I don't make money off of channeling. When Talata's talking to me, I hear him. It's like he's in the room with me all the time. Okay. Yeah. And every now and then he'll say, "I'm going to say this. You repeat me right the heck now." He's not talking through me as much as I'm listening to him verbatim and I can say what he's saying as he's saying it. That's what you witnessed tonight. He's putting his 2 cents in. He does it to Preston a lot. I'll be sitting there and I'll say, can I just say this isn't me talking to you? It's him. And I'll tell him, and, like, oh, it is.
Yeah, it's funny because when Dolly gets a message, her speech patterns change and her cadence. I'm like, oh, yeah. I recognize it now. I'm like, oh, this sounds like it's a lot of talking to you. She's like, well, yeah, actually it is.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
He's not going into her body, and she's
he's not taking me over. I'm an autonomous being. You don't have that right to do that. Sorry.
Right.
Okay? Right. But I hear him like he's in the room with me. We're partners, I hear him all the time. And sometimes he goes away and he's doing something, and I'll like tap, are you there? And he'll come back at me right away and say, yeah, I'm always here. You know that. And I'm like, okay. But he listens to me when I'm thinking about things sometimes, especially while we're writing symmetry too. He's putting his 2 cents in. And, or something's going on and I get overreactive to it a little bit, and he'll say, why are you reacting to it like that?
Yeah.
By the way, we can all quote channel. Anyone who's done anything creative knows this. I'll be writing and I'm like, gosh, this is coming out through me so fast. Yeah. I'm not even sure where this is coming from. Or if you're playing music, cooking, you can be
absolutely.
Yeah, somebody's yapping at you and you're hearing it, you're feeling it. Yeah.
Exercising, talking to your child.
Right.
Look, gosh,
where did that come from?
Advice there. Where did that come from? We are connected to
everything.
Spirit.
To the source. To the source.
Guides. To the source. To ourselves. To our past lives.
Right. And the more you know about it.
Look at your phobias. Look at your likes and dislikes. Look at your talents.
Remember your past lives. Yeah, those all come from past lives. That's right. They do. You've already done that. You're enacting a block to not do it again. It's like, no, I did that already. No, I don't need to do that today. We're done with that. Okay. You move on to something else.
It's fun to see a psychic. I've done that, I don't know, 10, 20 times, but ultimately you can do this. You yourself can do it. It's very cool when they read me. I'm like, whoa. Apparently I'm easy to read. It's funny.
Innocent
is very good. They absolutely have talent. And I'm very careful about it. I like that. I did a cold reading with this guy. I forget his name. Brian. I forget what his name was, but y'all had to wait in line at the front door. And so I came in there and he looked at me and he's like, huh, I see science fiction books above your head. I see Asimov, Heinlein.
Oh my God.
He's like, there's a small plane above your head. It's a red Cessna. My dad had just gotten one.
Wow.
So he was really good. Brian Hurst.
There are people. Yeah, no.
But you can absolutely do this yourself.
Yeah.
Dolly went to a psychic one.
Yeah.
And she's like, the psychic's like, you don't need me. You're a psychic.
Yeah, I was living in Atlanta in the 70s. I was an ER nurse, okay? And Madame Bell was up near the Grady Memorial Hospital. Was in the, downtown Atlanta. I thought, what the heck? I'm just, I got the day off. I'm downtown. I'm going to go buy this place. And she didn't have anybody there. I pulled right in the parking lot, knocked on the door, and she opened the door, and she's looking at me. She says, come in. And I sat down with her, and she looked at me, and she said, I really don't know why you're here. And I said, what? And she said, no, you know more than I do. And I went, what? And she said, no, really, you could tell me. She said, let me see your hand. And I held my hand out, and she said, yeah, there it is. You're already, what the heck? And she said, I literally don't have to tell you anything. You know who's around and everything. I went, okay, yeah, I do. And she said, why are you here? And I said, I was bored. I had nothing to do. And I wanted to see if you were real.
It's fun. I recommend people go visit a psychic. I did.
Yeah.
The first psychic I visited, she looked at me and she says, you should try astral projection.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Little did she know you're the king of it.
Yeah, it was really cool because I actually laughed out loud real hard because I was just starting to have them.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's validation.
Well, we have under a minute left, guys. This has been 2 hours of so much amazing information and fun. I love you both. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you very much.
Sharing this. This has just been a blast. I want to move next door to you both.
Show up. Seriously, just come on over to the house. I'm not kidding. Seriously, if you want to move
I've
out,
always wanted to create a community of like-minded individuals.
I'm telling you.
yeah, exactly. You're already family to us, so yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We will be doing this again and soon. There's so many more questions that I've got that I didn't get to. So when you guys have time, we're going to have to do this again.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I better disconnect. Have a good one. Love you both.
Love you too.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. I think I have about 10 seconds just to make sure I thank each and every one of you in the chat. It's like I've been trying to read your comments and they're always, oh, I got to go at 6 o'clock. Love you all. God bless. Take care. Stay strong. Bye-bye.